Again, there's not, in my opinion, there is not like here's the 7 steps to this, but I just think I'm looking for ways to serve. So be that kind of person, you know? And even in your hard seasons when you have nothing to give, it's like, well, maybe my best is sending this text message to say I love you, and that's the best I got in the season. That's all I have. Then that's your best. You do your best. You know, but look for ways to serve. Am I serving the people that are in my life? Am I serving the friends that I have? Is there something I could do that would communicate love and friendship towards this person? So constantly ask yourself that. And then if you're asking those questions, I would bet your bottom dollar that you are not a taker. Because takers don't ask those questions. You know, they just don't. And so if you're actively asking yourself, how can I give to my friends? How can I love people well? How can I serve people well that are in my life? Then most likely you're not a taker. So then you might have to be on the opposite end where you're examining, am I always giving in my relationships? And if so, the first thing I would say is check your motivation. Why am I always giving? Like Ashley talked about that earlier. Am I giving because I want to make sure that people don't leave me, or that I have these friends in my life, or that I stay connected to them? Do I feel like I have to give to keep them? And if so, where does that come from? Was that something that you were raised with? Did you have to do that with a dad or a mom? Were you in codependent relationships in your life? Like, start asking those hard questions. That's, again, going to map with the Holy Spirit, but it's just being self-aware and knowing yourself. But yeah, being a friend, being a good friend just means you're actively being a good person. You're actively learning to walk with Christ. You're actively learning to be discipled by Him, because His ways are the highest ways. So if you are pursuing transformation in the gospel, you will be loving people in your life well, because you will become more like Jesus, and He is the ultimate. You know, He's the one that we want to shape ourselves after. And so those are some good ways to start. Read a book, man. How to Be a Best Friend Forever. You're reading Boundaries. I'm so proud of you. It's phenomenal. You're going to do that next, right?
Yes.
You talked about that. Friendship for Grown-Ups,
Yes.
which is one of my husband's favorite books, interestingly enough. So yeah, read a book, man. Ask your friends. That's the hard stuff. Ask your friends, hey, is there anything I could do to love you better? Is there anything I'm doing that makes you feel unloved or uncomfortable or disrespected? And then when you get married, you'll already be in the habit of doing that. Like Cody and I often ask each other those kinds of questions, you know? It's like, am I doing anything that makes you feel disrespected? You know, he'll ask, am I doing anything that doesn't make you feel loved? So ask those kinds of questions to one another. If you're doing that in your friendships, you're very easily going to be a great wife. Because that's just how you are. It's your nature.
I think it's just communication. I think, like, sometimes we just don't stop to think to ask and to communicate with people in our lives. So